Thank you, Gina, for those inspiring words. Now, when several of us up here first got together to talk about who we might want to be our commencement speaker, we all agreed that we wanted someone who would really relate well with our students and someone who truly epitomized what being a citizen leader is all about. Someone who reflects not just mastery and excellence in their field, but also who actively role models that special character of a citizen leader, a character that encompasses integrity and a care for others. And I think we found exactly the right person in our 2013 Longwood University commencement speaker, Ransford Doherty. Mr. Doherty graduated from Longwood in December of 1997 with his BFA in theater performance. 6 months later, he packed his bags, headed for Hollywood, and hasn't looked back since. He's built a solid resume and a reputation for himself arriving in California. His previous credits include several recurring roles on network television shows including The Closer, Body of Proof, Las Vegas, and Joan of Arcadia. He's also made numerous appearances on top-rated shows including Touch, Castle, The Office, Bones, and ER, just to name a few. Currently, you can catch him starring opposite Academy Award-nominated Mary McDonnell on TNT's hit series Major Crimes. And in his free time, Ransford serves as a substitute teacher in LA area schools and is an advocate for arts education in schools. We are so proud of his accomplishments and are thrilled to welcome him back to Farmville for today's commencement ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, Ransford Doherty.
Woo, 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 woo! All right. Thank you, President Marge Conley, the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, parents, family, and friends, our distinguished honored guests. Thank you. I feel so honored to be here. Thank you for your kind invitation, for allowing me to share this great occasion with you. All right, 16 years ago, I remember leaving my dorm room on the 7th floor of Fraser in my graduation cap and gown thinking, woo, I made it. Now, even though it took about 15 minutes for the elevator to arrive, when I finally got to the lobby of Fraser, I saw my friend Martin Montgomery, and he was graduating too, and we said, hey, we're going to Hollywood. And for real, we were, because he was my ride. And then we walked over to Lancer Gym, and I saw how y'all was strutting down here. And I remember when I walked inside Lancer Gym, it felt so surreal. I remember waving to my mom and dad and looking at all the people I was graduating with. Whew. And 16 years later, it's funny, I wrote in my back pocket was a list of dreams that I wrote down on a sheet of paper of what I was going to accomplish when I left Longwood. And 16 years later, I still have those dreams with me. Okay. And, I practice this 50 times in the mirror. I'm like, I ain't going to cry. I'm good. And it just comes out. And 16 years later, I can say, honestly, dreams do come true and then some. And this moment is that then some. But it is more than just writing your dreams down on a sheet of paper, graduates. When you leave here, this is the fun part, your job is to participate in the manifestation of your dreams. Not sit back and anticipate the manifestation of your dreams just because you got a degree from Longwood University. And in your pursuit of happiness, there is something I want you to hold on to, something I want you to cherish. You see, I just finished reading this great book written by my friend John Nelson, which you all should get, entitled, Where Excuses Go to Die. It's an insightful coming-of-age memoir about my friend John's journey from, get this, from robbing bookstores to robbing banks and the lessons he learned during his 4 years in prison. Now, in it, he shares countless words of wisdom, but there is a phrase that a mentor shared with John that made John realize what was lacking in his core being that made him no different from his fellow inmates. That in order to be different, there was some choices he had to make to bring about some real change from within. And this phrase I want you to take home with you today is, get character or become one. And far too often in our quest for the prize, we compromise our character and become characters who lack character that end up problem pointing instead of problem solving, missing out on all the great opportunities that are in front of you. Now, if that was a little too high acidity, I'm going to break it down like we in an acting class. Here goes. You're the actor and I'm the director. Now, imagine you're in the Sahara Desert. It's 120 degrees out. You're hot, you're thirsty, you're hungry, and the only thing on your mind is food and water. However, sprawled out all over this desert are tools. There's a hammer, a wrench, a plier, but like I said before, the only thing on your mind is food and water. So you walk for miles on end, ignoring all these tools that are laid out before you, because at the present time, you feel they're of no use to you. Suddenly, you see a castle off into the distance, so you run as fast as you can towards the castle until you finally get in front of the castle's entrance. And there's a huge sign on the door that says, "Food and water behind this door." So you get all excited, you go to open the door, but it's locked. You kick and pound on the door, but that doesn't work. You run around the castle to look for another way in, but there isn't one. And then you finally get the brilliant idea to go get the tools you saw in the desert and use them to knock down this door. But when you turn around to retrieve those tools, they're gone. You see, all those tools you ignored was the keys to get you through that door. That hammer you passed up back there was common sense. The screwdriver was patience. The drill, persistence. Heck, you stomped on hard work, threw away positive attitude, spit on courage, told discernment, discipline, determination, honesty, integrity, perseverance, motivation, and some spunk, kick rocks. Kindness and prayer and God. I'm ashamed to tell people what you did to those things. But where was character in that story? Character is not only picking up those tools and holding on to them, but using them throughout your journey in life, because there will always come a time when you will need to use them. Today, as I stand before the class of 2013, I see a beautiful group of individuals who made it to this day inside the castle by using the tools you received from Longwood University. I see a beautiful group of individuals with character. And what makes this moment so beautiful? You have your supportive family and friends here to celebrate this day with you. I don't care what red carpet you go on. It's not fun unless you are with your friends. Now, truth be told, not all the tools you received from Longwood were always handed to you nicely. Some had to be thrown at you by your teacher, your family, and friends. Some you caught with your head instead of your hand. But hey, at least you have them. When I look back at my upbringing, out of the many tools I received from my parents, the one tool they always wanted us to use was gratitude. You see, my mom and dad and sister are from Sierra Leone, West Africa. Despite its natural wealth, 70% of its people live in poverty. In 2012, it was ranked the 8th poorest country in the world. My father, Cyril Doherty, is one out of 8 children in his family. He came to the United States in the early 70s to seek a better opportunity for himself and his family. He's the first out of his family to go to college. In fact, he graduated from George Washington University with a degree in civil engineering. He then sent back to Sierra Leone, West Africa, and brought back my mom, Betsy Doherty, and their daughter, Hyleen Doherty, and brought them out to the United States. And in Washington, D.C., my fraternal twin brother and I were born. Now, when we were kids, we never really understood the sacrifices my parents made for us until we had to deal with them as adults. My mom would work so hard to make the breakfast. She'd have the scrambled eggs with the cheese on it melted, or the fried eggs sunny side up or runny just the way you liked it, or the French toast on the side, sprinkle a little cinnamon, a little butter on that, a little syrup, little Bisquick pancakes. And if you did not finish your food on your plate, you got the speech. Now, I know the American version of the speech is, there are starving people in Africa. Well, I'm going to give you the African version of that speech. I would go to the trash can, clink, clink, clink. I would hear, Ransford, come here. You are going to throw away all of that good food on your plate? When I was your age, do you know what I had for breakfast? Rice! Do you know what I had for lunch? Rice! Do you know what I had for dinner? Rice! So you better be grateful for the variety of food you get to eat. You are living like a king. And I was tempted to say something smart like, what did you have for dessert? Rice pudding? But if I did, I would not be here today speaking to you. In fact, my parents would have used a tool called a belt all over my body. Now, my mom was the only one. My dad, he gave the speech too. If me, my brother and sister and I were to complain about having to walk 3 or 4 blocks to school, he would give us his speech. Ransford, you are complaining about walking 4 blocks to school? When I was your age, I had to walk 8 miles barefoot in the hot sun. I was waiting for him to make something out. 8 miles barefoot in 8 feet of snow in a blizzard in West Africa. So, Mom and Dad, thank you for giving me the tool of gratitude. Now, thank y'all. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, Mom, that's your Mother's Day gift. That's for Mom and Dad right over there. Yeah, there you go. Up in the house. Yes, for beautiful Beyonce and kids. And listen, TJ. Yes, for family. Woo! Thank y'all. Now, this is the tough part. I may have gotten gratitude from my parents, but humility, the icing on the cake, that I got from Longwood University. And it was Dr. Pam Arkin from the Longwood Theater Department who taught me some humility. Where's she at? Where's Pam? There. Okay. What's up? Okay, for real. She taught me humility, all right? I'm going to tell you how it is. This is how I learned. Okay, during my junior year, we were all going to go to Eastern Europe to perform the play Taming of the Shrew. We were all excited. However, Pam had to cut out the opening scene due to time constraints. However, Robert Gray and I were the stars of the opening scene. And when we found out she was cutting out the opening scene, we were livid. So we said, man, during lunchtime, we're going to go to Pam's office and demand she put her part back in the play. So when lunchtime came, Robert was nowhere to be found. So, I had to go into the lion's den by myself. And I remember I knocked on Pam's door, and I remember she opened it up. And I was like, excuse me, Pam, I heard you cut out the opening scene. How dare you? I wanted to show them Europeans that a black man know how to do some Shakespeare. Now, I don't know if you remember the movie Clash of the Titans. Y'all know the character Medusa? Okay, that was what Pam turned into. And I remember she said, excuse me, Ransford, when you decided to become a Longwood theater major, did you do it to become an actor or a star? I said, actor. She then said, well, start acting like one. Because there's going to be times when you do this professionally that your part will get cut or your scene will get cut, and there's nothing you can do about it. But an actor accepts it and moves on. They know they are part of an ensemble. But if you want to be a star, then I'm sorry, Longwood Theater is not the place for you. And I'm telling you, Pam was right. It is not about being a star. It's about being part of an ensemble, which is exactly what I feel on the show Major Crimes, on The Closer, or Caribe Road. Whatever projects I got, it's part of a team. It's not just about me, and I'm so grateful for Pam Arkin, Dr. Nancy Hager, Bruce Bees, and all the countless other faculty members who had my back. I'm telling y'all, fellow graduates, today enjoy this feast, but tomorrow, be ready to not only continue to carry the great tools you receive from Longwood University, but be open to some new ones, because there are going to be a plethora of castles you're going to encounter on your journey in life. It's a very competitive world out there, and you will be tempted daily to get rid of all the tools you've grown accustomed to carrying. Like Malcolm Caldwell said in his book Outlier, The Story of Success, you don't have to be the tallest NBA player to be the best. Just tall enough. I've also learned you don't have to be the smartest, just smart enough. We also know you don't have to be the dumbest, just dumb enough. There will be times in your journey you're going to want to quit. It's normal. You just don't quit. Sometimes you're going to have to go through fear in order to get to courage. And notice I said go through fear, not live in it. You're going to meet an unimaginable amount of rejection and deal with an unimaginable amount of rejection even with your bachelor's, your master's, or your PhD degree. But guess what? I want you to look in the mirror and say, I still love myself. And go apply for the next job. Go on the next date. Stay single. But someone sooner or later is going to accept you for you. Because you're going to realize through all that acceptance and rejection, the one thing that was consistent was that you still loved yourself. Every plant got to go through some dirt in order to grow. The sun does not need the earth to shine, so keep on shining. You are whole. You are complete. Not all fish are meant to be in your ocean. And at the end of it all, just say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you.